Why did this general refuse not only once, but 3 times to become emperor? For those who don't know, we're talking about General Tiberius Claudius Pompeianus, who was a son-in-law and one of the closest advisors to Emperor Marcus Aurelius. Born in Antioch, Syria, in the early 2nd century AD, Pompeianus came from humble origins and rose to become one of the most respected generals of his time. His father belonged to the equestrian order, below the senatorial class, and over time, Pompeianus was granted Roman citizenship during the reign of Claudius. Pompeianus's ascent began to shine during the Roman-Parthian War from 161 to 166 AD, when he was around 35 years old and serving under Emperor Lucius Verus, who co-ruled with Marcus Aurelius. His remarkable service led to him becoming a senator and later serving as consul in 162 AD. Having gained Marcus Aurelius's trust, Pompeianus was appointed military governor of Lower Pannonia after the Parthian campaign between 164 and 168 AD. He faced a significant challenge when a Lombard invasion was followed by a greater threat from the Marcomanni tribe. His victory over the Lombards highlighted him as a military leader, and he quickly became a close advisor to Marcus Aurelius. In 169 AD, Lucius Verus fell severely ill and died, leaving Marcus Aurelius's daughter Lucilla widowed at just 21 years old. Marcus Aurelius decided to arrange a marriage between his daughter and Pompeianus, who by then had already held the consulship twice. This marriage solidified Pompeianus's position and connected him to the Antonine dynasty. Marcus Aurelius's trust in Pompeianus grew to the extent that the emperor also offered him the title of Caesar and heir. However, Pompeianus declined the offer, preferring to continue serving as a general. This part of history certainly reminds us of the scene from the movie Gladiator, where Marcus Aurelius offers Maximus the imperial throne. This refusal by Pompeianus was actually the first of 3 refusals to become emperor. Around 10 years later, in 180 AD, Marcus Aurelius died, and Commodus, who was then 18 years old, assumed the throne. Pompeianus, with his extensive military experience, tried to advise Commodus to remain on the Danube frontier until the Marcomanni conquest, as Marcus Aurelius had desired. However, the young emperor had little interest in continuing the war and decided to make peace with the Marcomanni, returning to Rome in the autumn of 180 AD. 2 years later, Commodus faced a conspiracy led by his sister Lucilla. The assassination attempt failed, resulting in the execution of Lucilla and other conspirators. Since there was no evidence of his involvement in the plot, Pompeianus's life was spared. After this conspiracy, Pompeianus, citing advanced age and vision problems, withdrew from public life. His decision was motivated not only by a desire to avoid retaliation, but also by the growing political instability in Rome. He retreated to his estates in Italy, away from the intrigues of imperial power. With Commodus's death in 192 AD, Pompeianus returned to Rome and resumed his seat in the Senate. At this time, Pertinax, who was urban prefect, offered Pompeianus the imperial throne, presenting a choice that could alter the course of Roman history. However, Pompeianus, with his notable political astuteness, surprised everyone by refusing the offer for the second time. refusing to succumb to the temptation of power. Subsequently, Pertinax took advantage of the power vacuum and accepted being proclaimed emperor. However, just 87 days later, he was killed by the Praetorian Guard. It was then that Didius Julianus, an ambitious senator, managed to bribe the Praetorians to ascend the throne. However, his lack of support among the army troops posed challenges, and Julianus began to fear meeting the same fate as Pertinax. Faced with this threat to his life, Julianus approached Pompeianus with a proposal to become co-emperor alongside him. For the third time, Pompeianus declined the offer, citing his advanced age and vision problems. This decision left Julianus much more vulnerable. On June 1st, 192 AD, the senators called upon the soldiers to enter the Imperial palace and eliminate Didius Julianus. Wisely foreseeing the instability and political chaos in Rome, Pompeianus chose to stay out of the spotlight, living the rest of his life peacefully. Did you already know the story of this general? In another video, I talk more about the history of Pertinax. It's interesting how he tried to change things in Rome, but ultimately couldn't succeed.